Hello everyone, welcome to IGN. I'm Daniel Krupa and I'm joined by Alex Simmons.
Hello.
Nintendo announced the 2DS earlier in the week, and when they did, I think people thought it was kind of a weird, strange idea. I think the name's quite ludicrous, 2DS. It feels like a Nintendo leaving behind 3D, or they moving backwards, but I think having, played around with it a little bit, got my hands on it, I think it started to make a lot more sense to me. It feels like, they've made a product for 5 to 7 year olds, which is what they said it was. Alex, you're a dad.
For my sins.
Not my dad. Your daughter quite often nags you for your smartphone.
Yeah.
I mean, adorably asks for your smartphone to play games on. Would this be a good way to wean her off using your iPad?
Well, that's it. She normally asks to play with my iPad mini, which quite frankly is mine.
Yeah.
And
you're quite protective, aren't you?
Although she's my daughter, nobody touches my gadgets. Yeah. And it's not because I don't trust her, but I don't trust her. She will break it by headbutting it or dropping some kind of toy or whatever. So, but this, I'd quite happily give her that because it feels like you could drop it, you could probably crack it one, and it'd stay intact. So that's the
advantage of both getting her a regular 3DS. One, even though it's kind of inconclusive, there's there were studies about 3D affecting kids below 7, harming their vision. So Nintendo said categorically below 7 you shouldn't be playing the 3DS with the slider enabled. So this kind of gets around that kind of problem.
I never used to wear glasses until I played 3DS. So
it feels like a toy. It feels like a Fisher-Price thing, and I don't mean that kind of derisively. I mean it's good. It's been designed for the demographic. It feels really solid and strong.
Yeah. Well, I think the key point for me is obviously there's a huge back catalogue of Nintendo games.
Well, it's DS games.
Many of which are aimed at kids because let's not forget, like my 3-year-old, she likes playing Postman Pat games, that kind of stuff, like really basic stuff. This is not a console for me. I've got the iPad Mini, I've got the Vita, etc. But
I think the other concern is, a lot of kids do play iOS on the iOS devices or Android, and there's lots of pitfalls though. One is you can't really regulate the content sometimes. Parents should, but they don't. Another one is the pitfall of microtransactions.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas Nintendo are very good at kind of putting safety nets in place to stop those sort of things from happening. I was thinking about my nephew. He has a regular DS because his parents got him a couple of years ago, so it was dirt cheap. He's got dozens of DS games. I think this is a great way to give him a new device that he can still use all those old games. But yet he wants to play Mario Kart 7 because I've given him a taste for it.
Well, the thing is, I used to play my 3DS with the 3D slider switched off. Because I don't particularly like 3D.
That's a really good point. So, did you ever use it? I kind of used it a lot on 3D.
Rarely.
3D World. 3D Land, I should say.
And that's so we've just played Mario 3D Land on here, and it's perfectly playable. I think you lose some of the game experience.
I think out of all the games that have really come out on 3DS, it's the one where the 3D kind of effect was most fundamental to its gameplay design. But most of the games, I do kind of, very rarely do I have it enabled. So I don't think you're missing out greatly in that sense. Another really attractive thing about the 2DS, I guess, is the price point. So in America, $129.99, and in the UK, I think some retailers have put it on for 110 quid or thereabouts.
At the minute,
And I imagine that's probably going to go below 100.
That to me is the key point. So, because I bought my daughter a LeapPad 2, which is kind of like a console, but not made by Nintendo or anything like that. And it's fairly basic. You can do drawings on it. You can teaches you the alphabet. Which many of the stuff, that's what this can do, but you've got the whole scope of DS games, 3DS games to play around with. If they can get it under 100 quid by Christmas or shortly after, then that suddenly becomes a very attractive package.
I can imagine there's going to be a lot of good deals on this going into Christmas. And also 3DS has had a phenomenal year in terms of games. It's such a great growing catalogue of titles. So it's going to be well supported for the near future anyway. So that's the 2DS, that's what we thought. Please tell us what you think in the comments below. Do you like it? Do you think it's a good idea? Or is it just not aimed at you? For all things 2DS, stay right here on IGN.